listen, let me quantify what I'm saying because a lot of people are gonna maybe find that a little controversial.
Yeah.
Andre Galvao and Gordon Ryan, when they had this thing,
Yep.
Andre Galvao got slapped twice in the face before he was in the fight. If you train jiu-jitsu for self-defense, for pure Gracie jiu-jitsu, the guy shouldn't even be in your space if there's some kind of argument. Shouldn't even be there.
You mean Gordon was slapped twice by Galvao prior
No,
to them engaging?
no. Gordon Ryan slaps Andre Galvao twice.
Did he?
Yeah, prior to their match. I believe it was
Oh,
Gordon Ryan.
I got you. Prior to the match.
Prior on that hype
Yes.
to the match.
Before. Yeah.
Correct.
Got you.
Yeah.
Not the
So
match itself. Yes, I
no, not the
understand.
match
Yep.
itself. No, they were very. It
Yep.
was a gentlemanly match.
Right.
But that said, if you go back to 1952 and you slap one of the Gracies or attempt to, what do you think is going to happen? And this is where the working ethics of jiu-jitsu for self-defense versus I'm teaching self-defense in this jiu-jitsu school, but I'm not. I'm
Right.
teaching something totally different. There's,
I'm unsure. I'm unsure what I think. Like what I think is best. I don't know because I see two sides of it. Like I've
we're not talking
been
about
fortunate.
best, and I'm not criticizing
Fair.
anyone. I'm talking about what jiu-jitsu was, what we spoke about in the beginning, how it is now in its state of play with the UFC, because it's a sport, regardless, it's not a fight anymore. Has rules,
Right.
rounds, weight, and it has to be like that. And I appreciate that. I love the sport. I think it's great. I have UFC fighters and elite athletes that train here. Um, but I feel that jiu-jitsu self-defense is very different from modern jiu-jitsu.
Certainly. Certainly. I mean, especially from the Humaita school approach, like the Gracie combatives approach to how you should act in a situation. A lot of it, to what you said earlier, distance management first and foremost, right? Can I get away from Eddie if I don't like Eddie coming towards me, first and foremost, and then if he gets too close to me, now what happens? And they teach ways in which you can be a smaller person and have that interaction happen with someone's bigger, and you can be okay, or you can be okay long enough that someone else can come and help or delay time or create space. And I would agree. I think that there's definitely, and especially with the growth of the UFC, with the growth of ADCC, AIGA, all these
EBI,
Polaris, everything that's,
yeah.
yeah, anything that's like a spectacle, that's exciting, that's fun to watch as a spectator, they want people to be able to come in, not understand the sport, but be able to watch.
Mm,
And the reality is that if you don't understand jiu-jitsu, watching a gi match is kind of complicated. There's a lot going on that's tough to
absolutely.
understand as a person who's not involved in it. And so it has this, it's not, I don't want to call it a problem, but it's definitely an interesting thing to solve, to preserve the ethos of what the martial art is, but also accept the growth of kind of how do you get this into more people? How do you give opportunity to people that have dedicated their lives to this to have a school where people want to come and sign up because they saw it on ADCC, or they want to come and sign up because they saw Eddie cornering someone in the UFC and that's their entry point. So how do you keep the originality? How do you keep the combatives element, but then still allow the sport to grow in a positive way? It's a hard thing.
It's a puzzle to solve, but
Yeah.
let me explain a little more because I don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers, and I probably have, and it is
Oh,
what
you
it
can
is.
ruffle them.
I'm a little controversial with this stuff because I'm very passionate about what it is and where it came from and my roots, and I consider myself a traditional Gracie Jiu Jitsu exponent. That's how I consider myself. I completely understand when Hickson talks about amateur black belts. There are black belts in the world which are world champions, but they're amateur black belts. And I understand why he says that. Um, I'm no one to judge anyone. I'm not a world champion. I don't have a huge competition record. Yes, I fought MMA. I fought sport jiu-jitsu. I fought no-gi. but I'm nowhere near the level of the kids growing up in the academies today. I'm not. But
Right.
one thing I place great onus on is, as a teacher, what am I doing here? What is my job? Am I propagating a sales pitch which says, hey, come to my school. It's a very nice school, clean environment, everyone's friendly. And I'm going to teach you to defend yourself. And lesson one, spider guard, De La Hiva guard, berimbolo.
This is Robert Drysdale's big gripe. He shares the same gripe with you. Yeah.
Okay, great. It's great to know
Yeah.
that
He's like
a
it's
legend like that has the same view. But
yeah.
my thing is this: when I teach jujitsu, I'm teaching for the community as a whole. That means age, no boundaries; weight, no boundaries; athleticism, no boundaries. Do I have elite athletes that train here? Absolutely, I do. Do they do well in combat sport? Absolutely, they do. But my objective for the rest of my life teaching jujitsu is someone comes in, hi, nice to meet you. Why are you here? I'm here because what you said, I feel weak in my office. I feel weak because I can't approach my boss to ask for a pay rise. I feel weak when I walk in the street with my kids that something may happen. The empowerment doesn't come from jujitsu. The empowerment comes from their ability to be able to say, hey, I can do the warm up that everyone's doing. I can do the
Right.
techniques that the teacher's showing. I'm able to train with these guys without the fear of injury or risk of not going to work tomorrow or having to keep up with the athletes. I'm
Yeah.
able to have a mindset of self defense should the need arise, that I'm able to say, hey, no, that's not going to happen. And anything beyond
Mhm.
that, my training kicks in. But if my first lesson is, welcome to the academy, I like to show you this berimbolo to backtake, people leave jujitsu at that point, or the warm up is
Yeah.
so hard for them, they can't even complete the warm up. The poor guy or girl goes away and says, that jujitsu is for elitists, it's for athletes. And that's crazy
Right.
to me, Abe. That's crazy in the sense that, so crazy. And that's why I consider us traditional Gracie Jiu Jitsu. Um, Coming from an instructor like Hoyler, who's a decorated world champion, my weight, my
Right.
size, how could I not respect the sport? How could I not champion those who are doing that and respect what they're doing? Going back to my point of Andre Galvao getting slapped twice. Man, if you slapped one of the Gracies, even if you got close to in the early days, even now, what do you think is going to happen in their later years? What do you think is going to happen? They're going to wait for a tournament?